Welcome to this episode of the Conscious Business Coffee Break, where we take a few moments to explore what's happening in the conscious business movement, expand awareness, and encourage your efforts in conscious business. Greetings, everyone. I'm Stephen Donaco of the Conscious Business Enterprise, a division of Humanities team. And as we continue our series on the Conscious Business Declaration, today we look at Principle 5, which is that business must be positive and proactive. So let's start with the preamble to the Conscious Business Declaration, which you can find, by the way, at consciousbusinessdeclaration.org. If you haven't already seen it or signed it, we encourage you to sign it, of course, if you feel a resonance with the principles. So the preamble to the Conscious Business Declaration is, as a global community of business leaders, we are committed to developing the awareness and skills needed to consciously evolve our organizations in alignment with these principles. And today we look at Principle 5, which is that business must behave as a positive and proactive member of the local and global communities in which it operates. So as I was pondering Principle 5 and preparing for the coffee break, I took a look at the definition of the word behave, because that's the first word that sticks out to me. Business must behave. And the definition for behave is to act or conduct oneself in a specified way, especially towards others. A couple examples are, he always behaved like a gentleman, or you should behave affectionately toward the patient. So to act or conduct oneself in a specified way, especially toward others. So to me, inherent in that definition and then inherent in the principle is that business has a relationship with people to conduct itself towards others in a specified way. And business has an impact upon others because it is in a relationship with others. And of course, it's the people in business that cause business to operate. So it's the people have a relationship with the people that they have impact upon inside and outside of the company. And then in a more macro level, we could just say business itself is relating to humanity and the public at large. So let's go a little bit deeper then. So if business is to be a positive member, what does that mean? And I would say, think about a family and just consider one or two parents and kids. And what does it mean to be a positive member of a family? Now, if one or both parents brought money into the household, that's positive. But then if that parent or those parents were negative in all their other dealings with the family, would they really be a positive member of the family? So for instance, think of if a parent's emotionally abusive or just emotionally absent, right? Just makes money, comes home, and then just zones out and never has a meaningful interaction with the other members of the family. Would that be considered positive? Would being selfish be positive? So a parent makes money, let's say brings really good money, everybody in the family has whatever they need and more. But how many times in our current society that people are so burnt out at work that they come home and they're absent in all other ways. So being a positive member of a family is not just about making money, but it's showing up in all of these other important aspects of a family's growth, being emotionally available, being selfless and not selfish, right? So going back to that example, let's say the parent, and this is going to be an extreme example, but just to underscore the point, if a parent comes in and through the money that he or she makes, the family has a huge house, but then the parent says, well, all of these rooms, I bought this house, this is mine, and you have your little corner, but everything else belongs to me, so don't mess it up. Don't go in there. You're not allowed to sit on the furniture, for instance, in the living room, things like that. This is my house, and it's all my rules, my space, and you'll be in trouble if you touch anything. right? So that wouldn't be a very positive way to be a member of a family. And this plays out in business, of course. Um, there's an article that I'll put in the comments to the video from The Guardian called "Capitalism Can Crack Climate Change, but Only If It Takes Risks." And to quote from the article, it says, "Innovation is what capitalism is all about. Humans are endlessly creative. In the end, they will crack climate change, but by the time they do, it could be too late. Capitalism, especially the dominant Anglo-Saxon variant of capitalism, has trouble thinking beyond the here and now. People running big corporations see their job as maximizing profits in the short term, even if that means causing irreparable damage to the world's ecosystem." So again, the money, making the money can be seen as a positive thing, but then if there's a deleterious impact on everything else, is it really being positive, being a positive member of society? And then we look at the next item, which is proactive. What does it mean to be proactive? And being proactive is having the best interests of all in mind and in deed. So it's to act in advance, right? To be proactive is to act in advance, and it's not to be reactive. And what comes to me here is there's been a number of stories recently in response to U.S. Senator Elisabeth Warren and her proposal of a new bill to require corporations to answer to employees and other stakeholders. And I'll put a link to a Wall Street Journal commentary that she wrote called "Companies Should Be Accountable Only to Shareholders," where she outlines what this would look like. And essentially, it's kind of the B corporation model where if this bill were to pass, business would be accountable to itself and all other stakeholders. So social responsibility and environmental responsibility would be key to those things. And I read that, and in a way, I'm embarrassed on behalf of business, because I think it's embarrassing to business that it itself has not been proactive or innovative enough to do this on its own, right? We get to the point where the government has to legislate conscious business. It's not proactive on behalf of business, or it's not proactive by business. Instead, business, if this were to become law, now is going to be in a reactive mode, right? So just the talk of this bill being out there, and I'm not against it at all in principle, but the talk of it is going to cause business to dig in and resist. So if you think about it, if business were positively proactive and fully innovative about being the best among human institutions, it would be, one, the greatest force for good on earth. Two, it would have a stellar reputation in the world community, and rather than a reputation for being evil and being selfish and being an entity that degrades the environment and our social structures. And then three, it would contribute to the evolution of humanity if business were positively proactive and fully innovative about being the best among human institutions. So let's review the declaration from the top. Principle 1, we are one with humanity and all of life. Business and all institutions of the human community are integral parts of a single reality, interrelated, interconnected, and interdependent. And I would say you can't legislate that to make it happen. It has to be practiced. Principle 2, in line with the reality that we are one, the purpose of business is to increase economic prosperity while contributing to a healthy environment and improving human well-being. Principle 3, business must go beyond sustainability and the philosophy of do no harm to restoring the self-renewing integrity of the earth. Remember, we're using 1.7 of the Earth's resources to operate the way we are, which we're using more Earths than we have resources for. So we have to do something to contribute back to the Earth's ability to heal itself. Principle 4, business must operate with economic, social, and ecological transparency. And then today, principle 5, business must behave as a positive and proactive member of the local and global communities in which it operates. Again, I'll put the links to the items I referenced in the comments to the video. And then next week on Wednesday, we'll take a look at Principle 6. So in the meantime, have a great weekend, everyone. You've earned the opportunity to rest, to relax, and be a positive and proactive members in your own families and communities. So please, I encourage you to do that. And then we'll see you next week on Wednesday, 9 a.m. U.S. Central Time for another edition of the Conscious Business Coffee Break. Peace, everyone.